Now, most road test cars look immaculate, and that's because the manufacturers have specially prepared perfect examples of the breed. If you look at this Mazda, you'll note there's more than a little road grime, squashed flies and bird droppings on it. And that's because when it arrived just before the weekend, on the spur of the moment, we went down to Dorset and back in it. So this car has covered considerably more miles than the usual trip round the block that a road test car gets at a motoring journalist's hands. Mazda 626, of course, interesting to me personally. 20 years ago, I went to Japan for the launch of the Montrose, this car's forerunner. Mazda decided they'd had enough of letters and numbers. After all, they'd had the 1000, the 1300, the 323, the 616, the 818 and the 929, not to mention all the rotary engine cars, the RX-1 right through to the RX-7. But in fact, the name Montrose only lasted one model year, and then they went back to this 626. Now this is the new 626 Estate. So many estate cars are simply an estate rear end tacked rather uneasily over the space where the saloon car boot used to be. But this is a completely new and different body. They've added 65mm to the wheelbase and 85mm to the overall length. And they've also added 85mm to the height. Now that means you can comfortably sit higher in the vehicle than you did in the old car. Mazda say that contributes to a lack of driver fatigue, and certainly on our high-speed run down to Dorset and back over the weekend, I can vouch for that. In the first place, it's very easy to drive. All the controls are light and the switches are precise and they feel right, something the Japanese are so good at. Quite willing performance from the 2-litre engine, develops 136 brake horsepower. That's good for 0 to 60 in around 10 seconds and on to a maximum of 125 miles an hour, so you're not going to be left behind by much. Road holding and handling, nothing wrong with that, totally predictable. Nothing much to shout about though. It does get upset on uneven surfaces, but the ride overall is pretty good. And the power steering is rev sensitive, so it's very light at parking speeds and then stiffens up as the speed rises. And they've given the car big powerful brakes with good ABS. So there you have it, the Mazda 626 Estate. How do you sum it up? Well, it does everything pretty well. It's got excellent air conditioning, very good in-car entertainment, it rides and drives well, and it's quite quiet. Lots of capacity for an estate car. It's not as exciting and involving as the Mazda sports cars, the MX-5 or the RX-7, but then it's not intended to be. It's not as good as the top of the competition, but it's better than most, and at 18,000 quid, it's quite competitive. How would you sum it up? Worthy, but dull.